Well, good morning, everybody. We're back inside today. Welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside. And I apologize for the audio and video being weird. Oh, I think the audio was okay, but it was jumpy. I'm trying to figure out where best to do this and how best to do it. Sometimes Wi-Fi out here is a little sketchy, but I've got a better router or a better Wi-Fi router now. So I don't know. I don't know why it did what it did yesterday. So I'm really sorry about that. I thought maybe I would try to just do this, you know, and then upload later, which I can do, but I'm never quite sure the location of the file on my computer when I do that. It's easy if I do it in Facebook, but then I'm actually doing this thing live on Facebook and then uploading to YouTube. So eventually I'm going to figure out the location of these files, and I'm probably not going to live stream as much just because of this whole interruption stuff. I don't like that, especially if it's right when I'm explaining something, you know. It kind of sucks, so I don't like that too much. Anyway, yesterday, our heat pump passed inspection. Yay. But in the process of heading down the driveway to unlock the gate to let the guy out after he was finished, my husband re-injured a knee that he's had an injury on. So he's on crutches. I had to go buy him crutches. And I had him, I did a comfrey poultice and put that on there for several hours. And we actually did that twice. I did it hot the first time and then cold last night. And then he's wearing just a copper fit sleeve over it just to try to keep the circulation going. And I have to tell you, he doesn't have any swelling. He started out with some, but the swelling's gone. He just really can't walk on it right now. So we're not really sure what the outcome is going to be, but comfrey is an amazing plant, and we've got a ton of it on our property. So, you know, never till it. You'll have it forever if you do that. But anyway, it's like, yeah, till it all up. It'll all die. No, it's like, I'm gonna grow now. But the best part about it is that the leaf can be used in teas. It helps to control diabetes. It helps build bones and all of that. It's just a very it's not always fun to pick it, you know, because it's kind of got these little irritating hairs on the outside of the leaves. And so if you're prone to any kind of you know, skin issues, you might want to wear gloves when you pick it. But no, it's not like nettle, you know, where you have to wear gloves to pick that. But because I don't use gloves. But the stems themselves, they have a mucilaginous gel in it, similar to the gel found in aloe. And so you can actually split those apart and scrape that stuff out of there. It's messy. But say you have a bee sting, you can put that on there and immediately it's cooling. It has a cooling effect. But for me, I'm not really allergic to bees, but at the same time, it takes a while for bee stings to resolve. So I put that on there, and within a couple of days, it's over. So comfrey is an amazing, amazing thing. If you drink it, and if you drink the tea as tea, then and you have a broken bone, it's reported that it will speed the healing of the break far quicker than just, you know, doing what the doctor tells you to do. So anyhow, it's a good thing. And he's using the lawn tractor now to get around. So his crutches are on the lawn tractor. He's driving around the property, you know, because we've got irrigation and he can do all that stuff. He just can't put that foot down yet. So, and walk on that leg. So poor guy. He's a really active guy. So there is no way he's going to sit down for very long. So hence the crutches. Trust me, if I could have not gotten them, I wouldn't have, because otherwise, you know, he's not gonna take the time, you know. So I've got the infusion brewing, and I'm going to go and find him after we're done here, and I'm going to give him his morning tea, and we're going to see if we can't get him healed up really quickly. Let's count 13 and see what we come up with, and I hope it's not a court card. It is the Hierophant, another major arcana card. It's the 5th card of the major arcana. Now, yesterday was numerologically was 5. Today is 6. The Hierophant is the 5th card of the major arcana. The theme of the 2 pillars on either side, balance. It's one of probably the more patriarchal cards of the deck. Not a fan of patriarchy. I'm sure you can figure that out by now if you've listened to a few of these things. But the Hierophant is about the mastery of 3 worlds. You see, there is, and I don't have my magnifying glass. My husband took it. But if you look, let's see if I can get it by candlelight. You can see, not so well in this card, but in other decks you can really see, particularly in the Thoth Tarot, you can really see the 3s. Mastery of knowledge, tradition, and structure. That's the mastery of 3 worlds. If you look at his staff right here, you can see 3 levels to it. And I wish I had my magnifying glasses. It's got a light on it. You also see the 3 crosses up this center here on his that whatever that is. So you're really talking mind, body, and spirit, aren't you? And he's also known as the enlightened teacher. He's referred to as the holy guardian angel. Sometimes this means, because you're looking at here, you're looking down here at the bottom, you've got 2 guys here, the 2 monks, or whatever you want to call them, 2 priests. 2 clerics, or maybe they're just two parishioners that have come to seek enlightenment from the Hierophant, from their enlightened teacher. Guess what? You don't have to do that. It's all in here. We are the holy guardian angel, each one of us. So we don't need to seek wisdom outside of ourselves because we embody it. We just need to remember what that is. In other decks, this is known as the High Priest. So I did a thing on the blog yesterday about defining, it's called Defining Our Own Narrative. And one of the things I talked about, which I think applies here, is when we give away our own belief structure to someone or something else. We see it happen in religion. We see it happen in cult movements, whatever, any type of a group process. If you've ever, one of the things when I was studying psychology, I have a degree in psychology, and one of the things I was really interested in, I have a full minor in sociology and as well, and I have always been interested in group process, how all of that happens. How do groups come together? And when that happens, what happens in terms of the group structure? Because you're always going to have 1 or 2 people that are either going to vie for a position, a leadership position, or maybe one will emerge. But you'll look and see in any kind of even a friendship situation, if you've got a group of friends, you're always going to have one that seems to be the leader of the group, right? Well, that's a natural process. That is just something that emerges. But what I'm saying here, and why I consider this one of the more patriarchal cards of the tarot, is that these 2 guys here are looking to the priest for answers. And it's ridiculous, because in a sense, when you do that, you give up your free will to someone else. You give it over to someone else, your decision-making power to someone else or something else. When you adopt a set of beliefs, you do the same thing. Now, and I'm not saying that adopting a set of beliefs is a bad thing necessarily, but I suppose it depends on what those are. If you're doing it in a way that creates a master-slave or some kind of a relationship with something or someone else, where you're no longer really in charge of what you want to do, maybe we need to rethink that. We don't need someone telling us what we already know, and I think that in a sense we are all hierophants. So this is something about mind, body, spirit. This is within each one of us. We have access to our source presence. We have access to the Akashic record of all. So go within and use that intuition and understand that you don't need to give away your own personal sovereignty to someone else, that you possess all that you need. So let's see what the rune has to say that either tells me I'm full of crap or not. I don't know. I think I left my tea out on the table. I really would have liked to have done this outside. I like it outside. I prefer being outside, actually. I'm rarely in the house, so. But we'll have to see about that, won't we? Because it just didn't work so well yesterday. I'd actually like to do this out of my she cave. It's a gazebo. Oh, and it's just lovely out there. Except there's a family of skunks, and I'm telling you, the little ones are just adorable, and they don't, I mean, they spray a little, but typically they'll come upon us and they're not, they get mad at us like we're in their way. I was watering out there, and one of the babies, one of the young'uns, just, you know, he's not paying any attention to me. He walks behind the barbecue, and I'm waiting for him to come back out because I'd like to finish watering over there, you know. And so he finally treks on, you know, but they're busy. They don't pay any attention to us. They interact with my husband. It's funny as I'll get out to watch that. They stamp at him, and he'll tell him, go on, go on. They'll have a big conversation, you know. I don't know how he doesn't get sprayed. I really don't. Gebo. Not Gebo. I'm sorry, Yera. It's like, wake up. Gebo is the cross, the X. This is Yera, or year. It can stand for year. But it's about cycles. It's the 12th rune of the Elder Futhark. So it's numerologically, it's a 3. So it's a catalytic type of an energy. I don't know, though, if it's earth or fire. Yeah, it's earth. I use Yera in a garden bind room that I have. I've made several of them, and I have them hanging around in all the little greenhouses I have. And I have one out on the deck with my other stuff. It's a great rune for gardening. It promotes change and peaceful prosperity. It's about fertility. But it's also, if you see here, it's the rune of transformation and balance. You see, we balanced energy, okay? It's the same. So there's a balance there. And when we're talking about the mastery of self, because really, the Hierophant really is about, you know, the inner mastery of mind, body, and spirit. So if we're talking about that, and we're talking about Yera, I mean, it's kind of a goddess rune. I think the goddess associated is Nerthus or something like that. Something like that. But Yera will speed growth. So maybe this is for my husband, huh? So we can speed some healing on his knee. But Yera is also about unfolding spiritual awareness, and transformation, which is why it makes for a really great garden rune. It aligns energies in relationships. It also aligns energy within. So, and it also moves energy through the body. But what we're talking about there is what kind of energy we're talking about. What we're talking about is the alignment of spiritual energies coming into the form in a way that's balanced and creates healing and growth and all of that. And so rather than looking to someone else for all of that, we just need, there's a thing in Course in Miracles. It was interesting reading the Course in Miracles because it's all basically to restructure what Christianity is and what the meaning behind all of it is. It talks about atonement and forgiveness and sin and miracles and all of that, right? And it basically redefines all of that for Christians. Well, I'm not Christian, so but I'm aware of Christianity and all of that. I attended church on my own without family when I was young. I just wanted to know what that was about and that one was about. So I just would attend various churches. I mean, here I was, this little, 8, 9-year-old kid just walking down the road to the local Baptist church, and going there. And I have family that's Baptist, so I thought, well, I'll go see what that's all about. And my mother's just like, okay, and no one went with me. I just went by myself. So I have some awareness of it. So I knew a little of what it was referring to, at least. But it was a really interesting thing, because one of the core beliefs that I took from it, in fact, I even wrote it out and put it places in the house to remind myself of it, was I need do nothing. Yura is basically saying we need do nothing except be who we are. And the Hierophant just needs to understand that we don't need him. We are him, or her, whatever. That this is about the source presence within, and that we don't need to, we can have our own discernment about things. We can make our own decisions about things. We don't need to, I mean, it's not that you don't want to look for facts and research things and find out the truth and look around, but at the same time, at some point, it all comes down to you. It isn't about giving it away to someone else, or giving yourself away to someone else, or your belief structure away to someone else. It's about defining that for yourself. So I don't know. I didn't plan to tie this to the blog post I wrote yesterday. I was supposed to do one on a 6-card reading I talked about yesterday. So I guess I still have to do that today, because it's really cool, which is actually probably even more prescient for today, given that it's a 6 day and I had 3 levels of 6s. The cards, the numerology of each level was 6, and then the overall numerology was 6, and down the middle it was 6 and 6. So it was really interesting, and just full of synchronicities. But actually, it applies more today, given that it's a 6 day. So today's about harmony and balance and all of that. But it's really not about finding that on the outside of ourselves. It's really about finding that within. So go over there and read that if you like. It's kind of long. I don't know. Sometimes I get, verbose. But anyway, because it kind of has to do a little bit with what I just talked about, and I didn't plan that. So that's kind of cool. I love synchronicities like that. So anyway, go out and spend some time in nature. And if you can today, if you're at work, take your lunch out. Have any? We have lots. And it's going to be in the 90s again today here. So lots of watering to do. And my husband's out there on the lawn tractor with the hose and the crutches, and he's watering everything while I'm in here. So anyway, thanks so much for stopping by. Check out the blog, Stepping Aside. I'm Jan Erickson. And thanks so much for watching, and blessed be.